My name is George Troullias. I'm the director of the Kition Planetarium Observatory in Cyprus. On behalf of me and the team of our Science Center, I would like to welcome you to this online Science Café. The Kition Planetarium Observatory is organizing online science cafes since COVID, but we used to do it for 16 years, every Wednesday here at our Science Center. And after COVID, we returned to this habit online. So every last Tuesday of every month, we have these online science cafes, and we have scientists from all over the world giving lectures, presenting their work, sharing their knowledge among other scientists and also the general public. All these sessions are recorded, and they are uploaded to our YouTube channels for everyone to see it for free, them for free. And you are all of you are welcome. If you want to present something, if you want to participate, if you want to share your knowledge or share your work, you are more than welcome. I see a lot of friends in this session from all over the world. I see friends from JPL. Hello, Jim. I see from universities, our training centers, my friend Oleg Griglia from all the way from Ukraine, a few analog astronauts from Cyprus, and analog astronaut to be, who is going to give us a lecture for his mission today. Thank you all for being with us, and it's a nice surprise to have also the analog astronauts. I would like to thank Evandros for this. He will try to join as well. Evandros, he's also another analog astronaut from Cyprus. So he's a mission controller now at Asclepios Analog Astronauts Training Center. And he helped me to invite these lovely people who are now doing their sessions, and they are participating in the analog astronaut missions. So tonight our subject is the Perseids Meteor Showers 2023. And also the Expedition 67 in the Astronaut Analog Training Center in Krakow in Poland. This expedition will take place 23rd of August until September, and we have a Cypriot Analogue Astronaut participating. It happens to be my son, Constantinos Troullias, and I would like to thank him for giving some of his time to share with us his new experience and what he's willing to do with this experience in the future, and how he's planning to take advantage of it. And also, I would like to give the word afterwards to the other analog astronauts to share with us their experiences. So we'll start though with the Perseids Meteor Shower. The Perseids Meteor Shower is one of the favorite meteor showers in Cyprus. The reason is that we have a habit here in Cyprus, and every August, everything is closed. Everyone goes on holidays, and they go up in the mountains where we have dark skies, of course, and near the beach where still we have dark skies in most places here in Cyprus. And it's a good chance for people to turn up and look up in the skies and enjoy this amazing show, which gives usually bright meteors and, of course, some nice fireballs. Now, just for the general public, I would like to mention that the meteor showers, they come from comets. They are remnants from the pass of the comets. Most is actually dust that stays behind in space when they come mainly closer to the sun. And when the Earth passes from this place, they enter the atmosphere, and we see them burning. And usually they burn between an average altitude of 80 kilometers to 70 kilometers. And they are not more than dust particles weighing less than 1 gram. So these Perseid meteor showers, but also the rest of the meteor showers, they take their name from the constellation that they appear to come from. When we say they appear, there is a radiant point which comes from a certain constellation. So everything appears that as if it comes directly from this, as if they are emerging from this point. And so in this case, the radiant point is in the constellation of Perseus. Therefore, we call them Perseids Meteor showers. So the main body, which is responsible for this, is comet 109P, Swift-Tuttle, P for periodic, because these comets, they orbit around the sun. This one has an orbital period of approximately 130 years. In the last passage, it was 133, but of course, you know, there is an affection from the gravitational pull from the planet, so this is a little bit changing sometimes. So, and this year we have the maximum Cyprus time, August 13, 10 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, if you visit the link that I put in the chat, you will see that the International Meteor Organization expanded from 5 o'clock in the morning until even late in the night, the maximum estimated period. And during the maximum, we estimate to have approximately 100 meteors per hour. The velocity of these meteors is estimated to be, is calculated to be 59 kilometers per second. They are really fast. Now, on this map, you see some constellations, Cassiopeia, Perseus, Andromeda, and you see a line. This is a line of the radiant. So here we see on this chart the movement of the radiant. If you check on the right edge of the chart of the map, you will see July 15, and on the left, August 25th. So every few days, every 5 days, we have the new point of the radiant moving along the sky. Now, this is a picture we took with our team during the meteor showers in August 2021. The trails that you see going down diagonally, they are trails from, who can guess? Of course, from aeroplanes, okay? Now, these are trails of aeroplanes. The reason is that the airway was towards the north, and this is the North Star, the Polaris. And we have captured here the Earth rotation, the star trails. And of course, you can see some meteors. Well, let's see how many meteors we have. 1 meteor there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meteors, okay? So the conditions this year are very ideal because we have a new moon on the 16th of August. Therefore, we will not be obstructed by the light of the moon, and we'll have good observations. And if you see here, if you have a look at these meteors, everything seems to come from the same point, except 1, 2, 3, the fourth one, which is coming down vertically. This is not coming from the Perseids meteor shower. Everything goes like this from the top right corner, which is far outside from the screen, which they seem that they come from the radiant. But this one is vertically down, which means it's either it's a sporadic meteor. Now, our team, the Gideon Planetarium Observatory, participates in the International Meteor Organization, and we do research for 16 years now. Some of us even before, but we started registering officially for 16 years. And we do some scientific observations. We do some sessions, 15-minute sessions with 5-minute breaks. and with the coordination of me and Alexander Prokofiev, our astrophysicist. He's giving a lecture at the moment at the Planetarium. I will join him later. We see, if we see this graph from the international results, which talks about the zenithal hourly rate, which means the time where we have the radiant of the meteor shower at the zenith, and we have visibility with the naked eye of a apparent magnitude 6.5. So this is the maximum you can observe with the human eye. So at this, you can see that there was with the graph on the 12th of August, we started to get an increase, and we had the maximum later on, and then we had another maximum on the 17th. So there was a secondary maximum that was unexpected from the International Meteor Organization. But if you keep an eye, emo.net, you will see all the news, or if you follow our groups and Facebook page, you will also have all the news prompted to you. So this is the International Meteor Organization. Me, myself, I was appointed by the International Meteor Organization as the national point of contact for fireballs. So I get the chance to receive most of the reports from Cyprus. I try to educate people how to pass them online to the page. We also try to collect videos to try to calculate the trajectory, to check if there are any meteorite system of meteors. We try to track the to calculate the speed of the fireball, etc. So we get a lot of videos from different people all over the island. And we also have a team coordinated by Alexander Prokofiev, our astrophysicist, we do some citizen scientist projects that we use triangulation and programming, and we try to calculate the trajectories of the meteors. And if you visit our YouTube channel, you will see this presentation. I believe 2 months ago, if I remember well, we had this presentation 2 months ago. So on the map, you can see every electron mine you see there is one point of observation. And here you can register to the International Meteor Organization. You can write here your degrees, your projects, etc. And then you can put down your observation sessions. So this was my observation session 82618. Here is the universal time that I started the first session, the time it ended, the abstractions, the visibility, radar session and declination in degrees, where I was looking, which was my main field of observation. And then we had the different type of meteor showers, or if they are sporadic, or if this one, for example, was K-Cygnit, it didn't come from the Perseids meteor shower. And then you come down and you enter the magnitude, the apparent magnitude, that you need to compare it with some stars which are on your star chart. And you can estimate the apparent magnitude of the meteor. So I would like any one of you who would like to join us. This is a team during last year, during the briefing. We come here, we collect people here at the Gideon Planetarium Observatory at the premises. We do a small briefing like this one, and then we do explain how to observe. We explain the sessions, the intervals, the constellations and the apparent magnitudes of different stars, how to compare them, and then we go to the field. After that, at the field, we have a nice time, of course. We enjoy nature, and we love nature also. Mostly all of you, if you love astronomy, I'm sure you love nature as well. And After the observations, we help them to contribute to the scientific results. This year, for the general public, we have an event like we do for 16 years now. It will take place at the Kitesurfing Club in near Kition, the Larnaca area. So you can follow the coordinates if you are abroad to come here. And there's going to be music. Sometimes we have live music and DJs, sometimes one of the two. There's going to be food, drinks. You can lie on the beach, observe the meteor showers, and we will also give the chance to people to help us fundraise with and observe Saturn after 9 o'clock, Jupiter after 11, globular cluster Messier 7, Messier 4. The Milky Way, will explain how we can find the Milky Way, how we can search for the meteor shower, give them instructions where to look at. For example, not to look directly at the radiant because they're going to be fast and short, but away from the radiant, which is going to be longer and brighter. And then we are going to do, I'm going to give them an astrophotography workshop using their DSLRs and their Android phones or their iPhones, how to take pictures of the meteor showers and the Milky Way. Any astrophoto could give some scientific data, and many of them gathered together, stacked, can give an impressive image and, of course, more data. And this is a program. Anyone can find this program for the day. It will be uploaded by Sunday when we have the final confirmation from the local authorities to allow us to use the laser for the night sky tour because we have planes passing by. And we are all welcome. You are all welcome to join us to these events. So, any questions about the meteor showers? Okay. Okay. With us today we have Constantinos Troullias. Constantinos Troullias is a student, third-year student at the University of Leicester. He's studying biological sciences. He has an interest in the universe and in biotechnology and astrobiology. So he's planning to study, to do his master's degree in this field. So let's give him the chance to tell us a bit about himself. Constantino, good evening. You may unmute.
Good evening, George. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for having me today. Obviously, like my father said, I am Constantinos Troullias. I am an upcoming analog astronaut. I will be visiting the Analog Astronaut Center, Training Center in Krakow, Poland. My mission is on the 23rd of August, extending up to the 1st of September. So tonight, I'd like to share a very short presentation on what analog astronauts do, in case you don't know, and just an overview of my ambitions with the project and how it correlates to my bachelor's degree. So if you just give me a second. No? Can everyone see the presentation slide?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So, like I said, my name is Constantinos Troullias. Obviously, I am related to George Troullias. Like he said, I am a third-year university student in the University of Leicester. I study biological sciences. More specifically, I am undergoing my degree towards molecular genetics and genetics in general. And I have been recently accepted to attend the Analog Astronaut Training Mission, Expedition 67, called Augustia. So, what is an analog astronaut? If you guys don't know, an analog astronaut is essentially an astronaut on Earth. So instead of conducting the space exploration, every mission, every expedition, every training is conducted here on Earth for many different reasons. So obviously, an astronaut on Earth is essentially a person who is going to undertake training which simulate a very convincing astronaut mission. So obviously we have lunar missions, Mars missions, and asteroid missions. This essentially means that the training will take place in a very one-to-one like terrain. So it's going to be a small studio or a tent somewhere in a remote area, which would be terraformed to provide very similar environment to maybe the moon, maybe the Mars, or any asteroid that we might come across. So analog astronaut missions not only simulate these conditions, but because they simulate these conditions, they provide very useful information on physical, mental, and emotional changes the astronauts, or in this case, the people conducting the analog missions, the analog astronauts, might experience. And this information is extremely helpful for the astronauts that will move on and go to space. So, why are analog astronauts important? Well, so if we're talking about sending people up to space, obviously very expensive, very risky, and you need a lot of training to do that. So the reason we have analog astronauts is to reduce the overall risk of sending people to space and obviously the overall expense of sending people to space. So as you can see on the presentation, when we say risk mitigation, if we're conducting this on Earth, obviously everything is monitored. Everything is very familiar to us because it's the Earth. This is where we grew up. This is where all of humankind has been flourishing for thousands of years. And so by conducting these experiments here as analog astronauts, it gives us a very good preparation of what we can expect in space. Secondly, cost effective. Obviously, spacesuits, fuel, everything we need to get up there is extremely expensive. Setting up a tent and all the necessities here on Earth is extremely cheap and obviously very beneficial for the long run. So analog astronauts are also particularly good at testing space technologies. So for example, so because there is latency in space, it's quite good to test out new radios, for example, having two people in spacesuits, using a completely new radio system designed by a company or by NASA. And by essentially testing these technologies here, we are able to, find if there's anything wrong with them or if there's anything need changing. After that, like I mentioned in the previous slide, all the mental and physical stuff that happens to our bodies, specifically psychological research, astronauts are going to be very far from the Earth. They'll be isolated. It's very, very daunting experience. And so by conducting these experiments, we are able to get data regarding that information. And so we essentially create coping mechanisms for the isolation and the distress that will cause the astronauts when they essentially travel to space. And another thing that these analog astronaut missions are very good at is providing information for extreme environments. So in these training missions, essentially, we are able to obtain information about deep sea exploration or disaster response. And that is actually really good and gives you more information that the analog astronauts are not only specifically for space. Any training can be used here on Earth as well. So why am I interested in this mission? Well, I am studying biological sciences. Obviously, astrobiology is the thing. And I must say that the analog astronaut missions provide a lot of important biological aspects that will come in useful in the future of space travel and the future of humankind. So in my third year, I am partaking in the molecular genetics of circadian rhythms. And because in analog astronaut missions, we study a lot about the 24-hour cycle that the astronauts go through in space. Obviously, it's a very different experience. We have an ozone layer. We don't have night and day exactly. And so this could really be a hindrance to our internal circadian rhythms. And because I am doing my study in circadian rhythms, I thought it would be a great experience to apply for analog astronaut missions because I could get an insight and get some experience regarding my dissertation. And I think this is a very essential piece of how the human body operates. And I think if we can master the cogs in the circadian rhythms of the human body, we will be able to, well, essentially make a very big leap in regards to space exploration. Now, regarding my mission, unfortunately, the mission details have not been disclosed yet. I tried to reach out to some of my supervisors in Poland. The only thing they could offer me is the mission name, which is Fustia. But using their website, I was able to get this information here, which would give us some idea of what to expect of the mission. So if you can see here, we have sociodynamics, team dynamics, psychology, a lot of the things I've talked about before, telemedicine, astrobiology, neuropsychology, food and nutrition intake and control. So a huge list of things that will be conducted over the 1 week period. And well, that is all I wanted to talk to you about today. Like I said, I wish I knew more information about the mission. But once I do go over the mission, I would be, well, glad to come back and talk to you about my experiences. So I'd like to thank everyone here. I'd like to thank my father, George, for having me in this meeting. And if there's any questions I will be able to answer, please ask away.
Well, Constantinos, thank you very much for your presentation. Well done. I'm impressed that you already studied all this before the mission. And wow, I would love to know more about these circadian rhythms, what they are exactly, and how are you planning to study them?
Well, so circadian rhythms are, to dumb it down, essentially is the 24-hour day-to-day cycle your body does. So, for example, what proteins need to be produced? When you're hungry, it's essentially your biological clock. Think about it like the biological clock is the circadian rhythm, essentially. It's a very complex biological process. The circadian clock has clocks inside it. It has a lot of different clocks that are both influenced by the actual light stimulus that goes to your eyes. It is influenced by the orbit of the sun, the orbit of the Earth. It's a very complex subject. But since you asked me how I'm going to tackle this, well, right now we will be doing experiments on Drosophila melanogaster. These are fruit flies, and we will be taking a look in their the essential molecular genetics that come with the circadian clock. So essentially, what tunes up their clock and how that could be translated into the humans. And I think by taking part in the analog astronaut training, since I believe that space exploration is the future for humankind, um, I feel that both experiences will help me in the long run when I continue with my further studies.
Thank you very much. Elena Lopez from the Asclepios Analogue Training Center. Are you here with us?
Hello all, can you hear me correctly?
How are you? Welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and your position in the analog astronaut training centers, and
Of course.
how
So
to
right
encourage the new society, the new students to come and join the missions? I actually, all this happened with Constantinos. We have a private initiative here since 2008, the Planetarium and Observatory. Here we do astronomy and astrophysics, and I'm the national coordinator for many international projects for NASA, ESA, UNESCO, etc. And I received this email from the IAU for the AATC. So I posted it on the group for everyone to try to share the awareness and try to collect some people for the center. And I said to my son, why don't you try it? That's all I said. And then he told me that he applied. So we want more people to get involved into science, especially women as well, because we have this special subject, more women into science and engineering.
George, would you like me to share a presentation, or would you like me to do it orally directly?
Feel free to do anything you want, yes. You're more than welcome.
In that case, I will share this presentation. It was prepared by Evandros, and it's about the Asclepios 3 mission, so particularly the one that's happening right now. So right now I'm actually on shift at the Mission Control Center. I'm taking a short break for this. But I'm super happy to be here. So thank you again for inviting me. And what I want to explain today very briefly is what we do at Asclepios. Asclepios is a students' association based at EPFL in Lausanne in Switzerland, but we take people from everywhere. So for example, myself, I'm Spanish and studying in France. The only requirement that we have is that the person, when they apply to either be a part of the team or part of the analog crew, they have to be a student and over 18 years old. That's it. So I'm going to show you pretty much what Asclepios is, our goals, then the base and the astronaut training that we do, and finally, how we plan our missions. So we are what we like to call a do-it-yourself space mission, because it's a mission for students by students. We don't have any direct supervisors, we only have mentors, and everything else is run by students that give their time to this project. This year I was a project leader, and trust me when I say it was a very long road to the mission that we're having today. The key objectives that we want to show to the analog community is, first of all, that 100% student-led association that organizes analog missions can be possible, and that we can create valuable science during our mission. Then, as you've seen, this is Asclepios 3. So we have had 2 previous iterations, one in 2021, one in 2022. So we want to build on what we've learned. And finally, we want to be a point of contact for other analog missions around the world, because we are extremely international. So as you know, Evandros is our Cypriot representative, but we have people from 22 countries from 6 different continents. So we want to become this middle point where people can come with us and collaborate and learn about space analogs. Then if we look more into Asclepios 3 specifically, we wanted to work on space medicine. As Constantinos mentioned, is one of the topics in the space sector. We're going back to the moon with Artemis, we want to go to Mars, and many of the unknowns related to these long duration space missions have to do with space medicine. So we decided that most of our projects this year, or most of the science that was going to be conducted, was on this topic. So we've been working on human factors, bioengineering, nutrition, psychology, and then of course, a space mission wouldn't be a space mission without variety. We also focused on different space sciences that you can see here on the slide. By the way, this picture is of my crewmate Josh from Asclepios 2. You can see a bit of our spacesuits over there.
Nice.
This is how we work. So we have 2 project leaders. I'm one of them this year. And we have 5 different teams. So management, astronauts, science, design, and communications. And with that, we cover everything that is needed. We're all students. That's the most important thing. If you look at our numbers, and this is something that I'm extremely proud of, over 50% of our members are women, and over 70% of our heads are women, meaning that we have 2 heads that are men. Most of our students are at a master's levels, but we also have bachelor's and PhD. And again, it wouldn't be a space mission if we didn't have a variety of people. So we have aerospace engineers, doctors, but we also have people that study law and help us with like ethical concerns. We have people that work on computer science, etc. So you can see here that we are extremely varied, and it's something that is our identity. This is how we work. This is our timeline for the mission. So we start working on Asclepios 3 in October 2022, and it's now coming to an end. So our astronauts will be out of the base on July 28th, 2023. So we prepared it for an entire mission. You have here the different activities that the different teams made. I'm not going to go into detail. It's just to show that this takes a year to build. And this is what we have accomplished in the sense of science, education, and communication, which are our 3 main axes. So for science, we had a call for projects. We had international partners come in and propose a project, and then we selected them. We produced a prototype, or we helped them produce a prototype, produce a protocol, and now the experiments are being carried out in the base by our astronauts. When it comes to education, we've had several events for our students, notably an integration weekend where they all came to Lausanne, and several astronaut trainings where all the team was invited. And finally, we have our communication side. We have been growing in our social networks. We have been growing in the community. And right now, for this mission exclusively, we have about 30 media appearances in Switzerland and abroad. So what is it that we do? In here, you can see where our base is located. We are in Sasso San Gotardo, and what we do is simulate isolation for 2 weeks. They are locked in this World War II bunker that is now reconverted to a museum, and they cannot exit unless it's with a spacesuit. You can see here the landscape. It's a little bit too green, but it really represents the lunar landscape that future astronauts will see in the south pole of the moon, which is where we're going with this simulation. You can see here that it's extremely cold inside, between 6 and 7 degrees. With heaters, we can take it up to 12. So our astronauts are being cold. And there is a very, very high humidity inside that comes from a lack of ventilation. Again, we think that this is going to be something realistic when it comes to the first lunar bases that will be established, which is what we're trying to simulate with a 2-week mission. This is our base design over here. We have 2 floors, but they're only using notably the first floor. It is small. It's tight inside. They have to sleep basically back to back. But we have several rooms for different science experiments that have different environmental constraints. And most importantly, they have an airlock where they don and doff their spacesuits to go on extravehicular activities through the tunnels of this fortress that would imitate the lava tunnels on a real moon base. This is how we work in our mission control center. This is where I am located right now. So we have 7 people there, and we overview the astronauts 24/7. So they're never alone. They can always contact us back on Earth. And what we have is a flight director and a Capcom, and the Capcom is the only one that's allowed to talk to the astronauts, and then several experts on different topics in case there are some issues that we need to solve. And trust me, there's an issue every day. That's also what we want to bring into the table. So we have a realistic mission control center that was sort of brought to us by one of our mentors who was a part of a mission control center himself. This is probably the most interesting part. This is our astronaut training. So how do we train our astronauts for the mission? They've had several online trainings regarding space medicine. So they have had the chance to talk to flight surgeons from ESA, to Eurocoms, so Capcoms from ESA. But they've also had an extreme environments training where they learn to dive under ice. They've had a zero-G flight with a small Cessna, so just a parabolic flight. And they've also had suture training, medical training, CPR training to make them ready for the conditions in base. Because of course we cannot just send a doctor in, and the first responders are always the astronauts themselves. So you can see here a timeline of all of the trainings we conducted with the 10 selected analog astronauts. You can see us here diving under ice. Finally, this is how we work. So we have, when we arrived here at Tairolo, at San Gotardo, we had 3 days to set up everything from the 9th to the 13th, well, 4 days. And we launched our mission on the 14th. We are currently on the 25th, so 4 more days of mission, and then our astronauts will be coming out. Finally, after the astronauts come out, we will of course have to do a dismantling procedure by the end of July. This is pretty much what is happening right now. If you want to know more, every day we have Instagram lives where our astronauts share what they're doing inside the base, and our MCC members share what is happening here on Earth. And so thank you so very much. I hope I didn't take up too much of the time. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Wow, impressive.
Thank you.
I think I'm jealous now. I want to join. Excellent. It's really impressive, and it seems that you've done and you're doing and you will be doing hard work throughout the years, because it seems like a continuation of the previous projects going on for years and years. Yes.
Yes.
For how many years is this project going on?
So Asclepios was founded on 2019. So the first mission happened in the end in 2021 because of COVID. The second one, 2022, and this one is our third iteration.
Excellent. And is this funded by ESA or any other organization? So
absolutely not. We're not. We have no relation to ESA. Something that I like to make clear, just in case. We are not funded by them. We find our own sponsoring. So we have a team basically dedicated to that during the entire year. And then we are a make project, which within EPFL, it means we receive a certain funding to fund EPFL experiments. So of course they get an advantage to come to the mission because it's a university that we have behind.
Excellent. It's really impressive, all the work you're doing.
Thank you.
And another place to join, I guess. It's more interesting for they deal with more medicine.
Our next analog astronaut selection, it's on December 2023, just in case. Regarding the question on Zoom, yes, all of our team is remote. We only work remote. However, the only requirement is that this person has to be a student. PhD, master, bachelor's, it doesn't matter. They only have to be a student and over 18, of course.
Those stages you have to register for your next course and then apply.
Exactly.
One more degree for the sake of the Asclepios. Why not?
So regarding the other question, Jim, what we do is we're going to do a press kit at the end of the mission where all of our lessons learned, let's say, are going to be put out for everyone to see and for everyone to implement. And then when it comes to the results of the experiments, those are confidential. So we report directly to the principal investigators that lent our science to us. We have a dedicated team for that as well. So those will be the 2 outcomes, but only one of them will be public. And we're also working on an IAC 2023 paper that will have the main conclusions extracted from the Asclepios 3 iteration.
Excellent, excellent. And this data, this finding, these reports are shared with, with space centers, or they come and they ask them from you to enhance their knowledge?
So our science works a little bit different. What we do is we put out a call for projects, and then people that are interested in conducting their project inside the base or with our analog astronauts basically make a proposal, and then we have a selection. So the results are given directly back to them because that's part of the research. Then it's out of the it's left to the PI if they want to share their findings or not. Some of the results of our previous missions have been published. Some of the results haven't. It depends on whether they find valuable data or if they realize that, well, something went wrong and that's not how they were supposed to do the research. It depends.
Another question here from Constantinos. What are the physical requirements for the recruits? Is there a specific fitness level that is needed?
What we answer to this is a good fitness level. So if you have if you have mobility issues in any of your joints, it's complicated because they have to have the spacesuits. But there have been exceptions to the rule. So it all depends on how you perform during the selection process. It has 4 different phases. And there is a physical test, and there is team activities, and there is cognitive tests. So we don't select an individual, we select a crew. So the physical level, it has to be good. You need to be able to have endurance, especially more than explosive strength. But it's not one of the most paramount abilities that we're looking for in our astronauts.
Thank you. Questions? Agustinos, Paris, Alex, вопрос, пожалуйста.
Do we simulate any kind of disasters? Yes. Only last night, our astronauts had a solar flare at 1 in the morning. So they had to leave their beds, grab everything that they could, spacesuits, food, water, communication system, and lock themselves in the airlock until they could reestablish communication with the MCC. And last week, they also had a fire drill in which they had to simulate, well, there was an injured astronaut, and they had to simulate how would they bring them back. Regarding the question about applications, we have a website. I will leave the name in the chat. And then you will see that there is like in the menu, you will see that there is a become a member. So that is where we receive all the applications. We review them, and then there is an interview with either the project leaders or the head of the team the person is applying to. When it comes to astronauts, the application opens around December, and then it's a 6-month project to be selected.
Very nice.
So right now there is closed, we're not taking any analog astronauts right now. Sorry.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, Elena, it's excellent. I'm really amazed. I'm impressed. What is this that you would say, you personally would say, to encourage someone to join, a student or someone who wants to make an investment for his future, for his knowledge, and also for the society, generally for the human race in this case?
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Asclepios is unique in the world. We are the only analog mission by students for students. So if they want to get hands-on experience on how the an analog works, this is their chance. We also have as one of our mentors, Claude Nicolier, who is the only Swiss astronaut that has flown. A new one has been selected, so I cannot say only Swiss astronaut, but he flew in several shuttle missions, and he's one of our mentors, so they will get the chance to exchange with him as well. And in his words, if anyone wants to become an astronaut, Asclepios is the closest thing, they have to do it.
Okay.
So this is an investment for future astronauts, for future space workers, and for anyone that wants to know what happens in the space sector.
Excellent work done. Congratulations. I'm telling you again, I'm impressed. I've submitted the email there at the chat. We can give me a call anytime, and we can we'll share some more information. We can do some outreach here for you so that we can help you promote the center. And
That would be lovely.
and whenever you're ready, you can just let me know, and we can dedicate the whole science cafe last Tuesday if anyone you're interested, and we can after you finish your report, if you want to present something, if you want to show something, you want to present your center, you are more than welcome.
Thank you so much. I will probably send Evandros next time. I think he should be here tonight. I'm sorry that he couldn't. He's our Cypriot representative.
Yes, he called me last night, and he said that he was at mission control last night, and he was today. Of course, he's also going back to the other center as well. So, okay. Thank you very much, Elena López.
Thank you very much.
Find you. Dear friends, anyone else has any question? No? Okay, Alec? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you for being with us. See you next month, last Tuesday of next month, same time. Tejas has a question for Constantinos. Yes? Please.
Go ahead, Stelios.
Just unmute yourself and talk, guys. Stelios, you may unmute yourself and ask the question directly. Harry with Haristume. Thank you, Harry. Can Constantinos tell us of a mission that you will be part of? It's the one he explained earlier. It's going to.
I will be part of mission called Gustia. It will. Oh, in more. I can't. Unfortunately, they haven't released the mission specifics. No problem.
But I believe he gave already a lot of details earlier. But this is recorded anyway, so we can put it back, and you can watch the details. Okay. Anna Maria, our friend from Frosinone, Italy. Hello, welcome. So it's really international meeting today. JPL, Italy, Ukraine, Cyprus, University of Frederick University, our friends here there from Asclepios Center. We had a friend earlier from AATC. Wow, excellent. So guys, thank you very, very, very much. Again, repeating one more time, last Tuesday of next month, the next Science Cafe, 8 o'clock in the evening, we will be sending the newsletter the Sunday before the last Tuesday. So if you want, just send me an email. I'll write your email in the chat, and we'll just include you in the newsletter. And we are ready to promote, to create an event, to promote your work, to present your work. And we're more than happy to cooperate with all of you. And you, my friend from JPL, Jim, well, you're everyone for the next solar chasing campaign. We had no time last time, yeah? So when...
Are you talking about the eclipse in April?
Yeah.